Hi, everybody. It's Carol Bryant from BlogPaws, and I'm here with Dexter. And on the eve of 4th of July, so he's hearing fireworks and thus has clung to my lap. We are here today to talk with Yvonne DeVita, co-founder of BlogPaws, as well as some of the winners of our BlogPaws 2014 Nose to Nose Pet Blogging and Social Media Awards. So what I'd like to do is go around and have everyone who is in the house introduce themselves. And hopefully today you'll get some tips on how you could improve your blog, what you can do for next year so that you're in the running with your blog to be recognized, and get some helpful information from our fearless leader. So let's start with Yvonne. If you could tell us who you are. If anyone doesn't know, well, that would be a surprise, but just introduce yourself anyway.
I guess I'm the fearless leader.
You are.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
So I am actually one of the co-founders of BlogPaws, and BlogPaws was started because there is a small group of us, myself, Tom Collins, and Caroline Gullen, who wanted to help pet bloggers be more recognized, to learn better social media skills, and just connect with each other and with brands. So we launched a conference where we had over 200 people, and it's grown to what it is today. And now we're trying to keep up with technology and make sure that we're helping the pet bloggers learn it also, and that's why we do these hangouts.
Awesome. And next in the house we have Lana Graylak. And Alana, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, what your blog is, and it looks like you're in Rome, but you tell me you're not in Rome.
I'm not in Rome. I'm on my balcony in Chicago. Our apartment's under a little bit of construction right now, so I thought this would look a little nicer than seeing something with no floors. So I do catinthefridge.com, which is a blog that I write with my cat Crepes about special needs pets and adoption. And we try to do it in a humorous way because it's our hope to get more pets to find homes by getting people's attention through laughter, which I think is fun. And then in addition to that, I also do the Catastrophes web series, which kind of, we use adoptable pets. Some of them are adoptable, some of them are not. And then we do videos about them in a humorous way to bring light to topics in adoption and also to just kind of showcase those adoptable pets, hoping that people will see them and take them home.
Awesome, awesome. And I know a lot of folks are familiar with you. You've done so very much with your blog, and we're going to get into a little bit.
I have problems with my internet.
Oh, hey, we have Rachel here. Hi, Rachel. You're live on the air.
We can see you. Hi.
We can see you, and we can hear you, and America and probably the world is watching. So you look great, Rachel. Welcome to the BlogPaws Google Hangout. And for folks not familiar with you, tell us who you are, what you blog about, and what's the name of your blog?
Okay, my blog is Speedy the Cheeky House Bunny, and it's about my rabbit, who is a one-eyed rabbit and is very, very cheeky. At the moment she's on the floor being a pest.
And when you say cheeky, what exactly is cheeky for those of us in the States who really don't get out much?
Hang on, I'm going to see if I can get on the floor without upsetting the signal.
Oh, you know you're on a Google Hangout with BlogPaws when everyone's got a pet on their lap or on their head.
I tried to bring Olive, but she wouldn't stay.
Oh, okay.
She didn't like my ears either.
Oh.
Cheeky basically.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Rachel?
Oh, no.
See if we can show him. There he is.
I don't know if we're seeing
cheeky
him.
behavior is like he'll do when he does some.
Very good. Very good. Well, let's go around. What I'd actually like to do is ask each of you a little bit about what your award was that you won. Every single year since, well,
this is yeah, I think it's 2011.
2011. BlogPaws has done a BlogPaws Pet Blogger Social Media Award, and basically, I prefer if Yvonne, you kind of jumped into that as to what it is and why we award the folks that we do and how exactly it operates.
Well, BlogPaws likes to reward people who work hard at what they're doing. And of course, as a pet blogging social media focusing conference, we want to reward the pet bloggers. We're looking in the Nose to Nose Awards, we're looking for good writing, we're looking for good photography, we're looking for blog design. There's 12 categories that we actually judge, and I want everyone to understand that we internally do not judge. We take the many hundreds, this year it was over 1,000 entries, and we do review them, but then we turn over the finalists who meet a certain criteria to a panel of judges. This is not a popularity contest. This is comparing blogger in the category, so for excellence in the category, to other blogs in the category. So in the end, you have to meet the criteria, and the judges will take the semifinalists, Tom reminds me, take the semifinalists, and they will choose the finalists in each category, and then we will have those judged and choose the winners. Now, we know the winners well ahead of time, but of course, we announce them at the conference. Right. So it's an honor to be a finalist or a semifinalist in this, because what it says is you're being recognized for the hard work that you're putting into your blog.
Right, so no one has to vote. No one in the general public has to click to get Facebook likes or anything like that.
No one votes.
Right.
The judges don't actually vote either. They judge. They have a criteria. And we're looking to improve the criteria every year, because we know each category needs to be judged on its own merit and not against other categories. So photography should now be judged against writing.
Right.
So in the end, we want the bloggers who are semifinalists and finalists to feel proud that they were chosen by a group of judges who felt their work was worthwhile.
Right, right. So this has actually grown, and as you said, 1,000 entries, and it's definitely an award in my eyes that it's sort of like the pet blogging, it's Oscars of the pet blogging world.
Yeah.
You know,
and we have an event at the conference that's equal to the Oscars.
Right, red carpet, and people dress up, and media coverage, and it's really grand scale. So speaking of grand scale, now that we know what the awards are all about, I wanted to introduce two of the winners. So let's start with Alana, and if you could tell us what category you won for, Alana?
So I won for Best Blogger Video, but I was also very excited to be nominated for Best Cat Blog and Best Special Causes Blog. So that was great. I was really happy about that. But we won for the best, it's our video called The Inheritance, which was starring my cat Rocky.
Okay. And if someone wanted to watch that, just while I have you on the spot, what is the website where they could see that once they're done with the Hangout?
They could go to, here's Crepes, yay Crepes. They could go to youtube.com/catcatastrophes, or they could go to catcatastrophes.com, and we have everything up there.
Super. And what would you say for someone who's fairly new to blogging and they'd like to strive to do what you're doing and have themselves out there? What sort of, maybe one or two tips for someone who's just starting out, they think someday I would love to be involved and be lauded and awarded? Any tips from someone like yourself who's been doing this for a while and has been recognized?
Yeah, I've been doing it for about 1.5 years, and I think the biggest thing for me was to have a plan that I had to stick to. Like, I had to make myself accountable for doing the work on the blog. If I had done it kind of as a side project and not really kept up with it, I don't think that I would have been able to grow an audience. So I would say have a plan, definitely stick to it. Like, are you going to post 3 times a week or 5 times a week? Do you have any features that you can rely on that might recur monthly or weekly? You know, you have to give yourself some structure and some deadlines, because if you impose those on yourself, then you'll meet them. And then another tip, I think, is really share with other bloggers. If you make yourself part of the community, then you will have a community that will help you disseminate your information and show other people what you're doing. So definitely stop by other blogs, comment on them, join blogger groups, make as many friends as you can virtually. I think that's really what has helped the most.
Awesome. And would you agree with that, Rachel? How about for yourself, if you could tell me what you won for starters, and what the name of your blog is again, for folks that are possibly just joining in.
Okay, my blog obviously is Speedy the Cheeky House Bunny, and I won the Best Other Pet blog, which was like a huge, awesome honor, and I just couldn't believe it that I was even nominated, never mind make the finals and then win. But to get started with blogging and trying to sort of spread the message of your blog, I mean, I suppose really it's just about making as many friends as you possibly can and just making sure that you love what you're doing, because if you don't love what you're doing, there's no point.
Right.
Because nobody else is going to love it.
Right. And do you find that you commit a significant portion of time to your blog? Is it something that you do, as Alana said, do you have a plan and how frequently you're going to post and promote the posts that you are writing?
It depends on what I'm doing. I mean, with like Christmas, I do a special Christmas event, a special countdown, so I'm doing a post every single day, so that takes an awful lot of time. Mm-hmm. And then during the rest of the year, it depends on what's going on in our life. You know, we just depends. I mean, yeah, we spend a lot of time some days.
Right. So you're when you say other pet, it's a bunny blog, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this I think is what Yvonne would be really proud to hear, and what a lot of you out there, you don't have to be a dog or a cat blogger to be involved with BlogPaws, the community, and the awards. And Yvonne, could you speak to that? Do we have a large contingency of pet bloggers who are not dog and cat?
Well, I wouldn't say we have a large contingency. I will say that at BlogPaws, if you consider it a pet, we consider it a pet. So we have people who have chickens as pets. And I was surprised at the first BlogPaws to learn that certain people consider their chickens pets. And I have learned since that there are all sorts of animals that we don't traditionally think of as pets. One of them, we have a mini pet pig that we just wanted them to bring to the conference and they couldn't, but maybe sometime in the future. Someone brought their capybara. If you're not familiar with that, that's a RUS, a rodent of unusual size, so to speak. And so anything that's considered a pet to you is considered a pet to us. And in order to be able to reward those bloggers who had those pets that weren't traditionally dog, cat, or bird, or ferret, which are some of the ones that we recognize the most, in order for that to happen, we had to create this other pet category, and we wanted to make sure we called it other pet, so it included all of those quote-unquote other kinds of pets.
And I know that Alana and Rachel, as well as all of the winners, received more than just the accolade and more than just the trophy for being a winner. Yvonne, could you tell me some of the things that they received in addition to that?
Well, you know, they get the trophy, and I don't know if the girls have their trophy there. I've got one behind me. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of blurry. They receive a trophy. It's personalized. They receive donation to a shelter of their choice. This year, Only Natural Pet donated 400 pounds of pet food, which that's a big part of what BlogPaws is about, taking care of shelters and rescues. So they got that donated, and basically what we're doing this year and going forward is trying to support our winners with some advice on how to use that win, how to be able to say, hey, I won a BlogPaws Most Award for excellence in my category.
Right, and I think it's an honor just to be a finalist, in my opinion, because this is something that I know we have a question that came in from Tripods. They're saying, how do we get our blog noticed by appropriate media outlets if you cover a very specific niche? And if you're a finalist, that's the kind of thing that through the different press releases and media contacts we have. But if you're a blogger out there, and I know Tripods, that's three-legged pets, and so I would form a story around that and make something unique, focus on one dog, and possibly start with a local media outlet. And go from there. So media does notice the finalists. Speaking of, you know, getting recognized out there, and all of the finalists and all of the winners, we're in contact with, specifically the winners, so that they could let their contacts in their community and their media know that they won. And it's not just the honor of it, but it's that you're being recognized for an achievement in something that a lot of people are still learning about.
Right. So I also want to say to Jerry that he should be looking at local events and trying to tie in his win or his blog to a local event. I see in the local news, certainly here in Colorado, pets get covered all the time. So where's the local angle in the story? Find out what your local TV, radio, or even websites are reporting on. Look at holidays. Look at things that are happening in your general area and region. Mm-hmm. And tie in what you're writing about and the fact that you're covering that on your blog to the event itself.
Right.
Can I chime in on that for a second?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Hi, Tripods. You guys are great. I've talked to them before. We have something in common in that Crepes is a tripod herself, and that was kind of the premise of our blog. The way that we've been doing it is partnering a lot with our local rescues. So, for instance, Treehouse is where I got Crepes from, and they're pretty big. They have a pretty good connection to the community and to some media and things here, and so I've been kind of volunteering to do things with them. Last year, I volunteered to work on the committee for the Cat Video Festival. One of our videos was on tour with the Cat Video Festival. So while at the event, kind of in exchange for me helping to put it together and you know, put together sponsorships and whatnot, I got a table at the event so that as people were coming through, and we had about, I think, 3,000 people over the course of the day, I was able to stand there at my table and talk about tripods and talk about crepes and talk about special needs pets, and I had flyers made out and I was handing them out. So those are the kinds of things I've been doing here. And then in addition, I've been partnering with the rescues on videos that we've been doing, where I will use those cats from a specific rescue in a video, and then the videos will be promoted, and that rescue will help us promote the videos. We help promote the rescues, and then we've sent out press releases, which have actually gotten picked up by, like, the Huffington Post, things like that.
I was just going to say that. We just saw you in the Huffington Post. Yeah. That was an awesome article. Yeah, that's totally awesome. And yourself, and I know Life with Dogs and Cats, she was a winner. We sent a press template to her, and she sent that out to local media and has already had 2 media pickups locally because she won the award. So they wanted to know who she was, what she's doing, what's the blog about. So BlogPaws is really being recognized, and this is quite the honor. So even if you're not a finalist or a winner, to go back to Jim's point, and I think it's so important for anybody on this Hangout, don't consider yourself not a resource. You are. If you're blogging and you're serious about it, let those in your community, as Yvonne said, know. And it's as easy as picking up a phone, calling your newspaper or a local reporter or a news station and saying, who's your editorial manager? Who do I need to send a pitch to? And start the conversation. Just pick up the phone. We also, we have people here, they're saying, what is the, Lori Koger wants to know, well, my dog has a fit. What is the number of posts that's considered ideal per week? And would either of you or all 3 of you like to speak to that briefly? How many times you post per week?
How about Rachel?
Yeah, I'll answer that one if you like. Most weeks I probably post 2-3 times a week because it takes a lot of time and effort, and you need to reach out to your followers as well. So you know, 2-3 times a week is plenty, I think, without taking up too much time and not being able to reach out to the rest of your followers. And
right, so it's marketing too, not only writing it, but literally marketing the post itself and being social about it. Do you agree?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
yeah.
right.
And Elena, how about you?
I think just consistency is important. I try to commit to at least 3 a week. And I was doing 5, but that turned out to be kind of too much for me, especially with the web series going on. And so I just let my readers know I'm going to try and post, or I will be committing to 3 times a week. And so I try to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where Thursday is always the Bachelor of the Week, where I promote an adoptable special needs pet from a local shelter, or, well, not local, any kind of shelter, actually. And then Wednesday I save for like an interview or something serious, and Tuesday is usually Haikus Day, where Crepes is just goofing off. And then if I have time, I'll do something silly and something that's kind of interesting just for people to read that might make them laugh, just because I find that those posts tend to be shared a little bit more, and then that, you know, gets more readers, and then they come back for the important stuff, which is the Bachelor and the Bachelorette of the week. So I just try to be
consistency. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's consistency and letting your readers. What do you feel about that, Yvonne? You've been blogging forever and a day. What are your thoughts about consistency and posting?
Well, I definitely started a long time ago. I started in 2004, and the things that I would recommend are what I hear our two guests today talking about, at least 3 times a week. But don't agonize if you can only do it once this week or twice some other time. Try and be consistent with not just how often you post, but what you post about. So create an editorial calendar. Let me know. You'll find out very quickly what your audience wants you to be reporting on and talking about, and they will help you build the content to a point where you start building followers and growing, and that's what you want to do. So you need to be looking at your content as supporting a purpose. Your blog can't be all over the place. It has to have a purpose. So 3 times a week is my recommendation. Make sure that you have a purpose, and pay attention to SEO. We can never deny that SEO works. It doesn't mean you should constantly use the same terms over and over, but if you're writing in a consistent manner about topics that are important to your readers, you should be using the words that will make your blog SEO friendly to Google.
Absolutely, and you know, on that topic, Jen DeHaan is saying that case studies of bloggers and how we got into the news would be very helpful. And I know that's a very popular session at the BlogPaws conferences, is how to get your blog recognized by media. I've spoken about it. Yvonne, you've spoken about it. We've had experts come in speaking about it. I write about that. So I think that would make a really nice blog series too. So for Jen, who asked that question, that's really important, and
we'll follow up on that.
We will definitely follow up. We're asked from Annabelle, I believe it's, or Amiable Cats. Could you talk a little bit about having advertisers supporting your blog? Who wants to take that one with advertisers and the support of your blog itself?
I'm happy to do it if the 2 ladies don't have anything.
I don't have too much to say about it. I mean, I've worked with some. For the most part, though, I try to do a lot of charity work. So I'm just asking for the sponsored posts to kind of help the blog keep going right now, so that I can put more time into the charity stuff. But I'm sure Yvonne probably has something much better to say about that.
Rachel?
Here in the UK, it's really, really difficult. Blogging is not a huge, great thing. It's a relatively new medium, so advertising and sponsorship and anything like that is really, really hard here. I mean, I've been trying, and you just don't get answers to any emails or letters or anything. It's just so very, very hard, because most of the pet industry here in the UK, they have their own blogs and they do it that way themselves. So it's hard here in the UK.
It's really nice, too, then, that you're in the BlogPaws community and you're being recognized and embraced, and so much to the point that you've been awarded for your efforts, because it says that your peers and a panel of judges really appreciate what you're doing. So for anyone out there like yourself who's overseas, or who has not a dog, not a cat, you know, a ferret, a bunny, a bird, fish, don't give up.
So, yeah, I think, Carol, that to the advertiser's question, it's an individual choice. It truly is. Not everyone wants ads. They end up at your sidebar generally, or you can do a sponsored post. So you have to make the decision, and you have to make the choice. Do I want to do this? And then you have to do what we were just saying. You have to be consistent and create good content. And if you're going to have advertisers, make them relevant to that content. I often tell people, freelance writers who are smart will look at the magazines they're applying to or sending stories to, and do more than just read the articles. They'll look at the advertising. The advertising tells you something about the magazine. It tells you something about the audience. So advertisers on your blog are going to tell you something about that blog. So make sure you keep control of that part of earning monetization of your blog. So we will cover more about that in the coming months also, and on the community, because that's a really, really big topic. But it's an individual choice. You have to take charge. You know, big question, what do I charge? Well, that's something that we could have a whole hangout about. And remember, they're going to be in your sidebar. People are going to see them.
Right, right. Andrew's, yeah, absolutely. Andrew is asking us about social media, and can you be too active? Should you be more focused on one? Should you do with 2, 3, 4 platforms? I just wanted to chime in quickly with what's worked for me is I don't try to spread myself too thin. I just focus on 3 to 4 platforms. The ones that have worked personally for my blog and me have been Facebook, Twitter. I'm addicted to and loving Instagram. I'm seeing traffic from there, and Pinterest. How about you, ladies? Could you each go around, start with Lana, and tell us social media, how many platforms, and we've got about 4 minutes left.
I find that Twitter works pretty well, especially when I ask people to RT something like a missing pet or an adoptable pet. That's great. So I focus on Twitter and I focus on Facebook. I'm getting a little bit into Instagram, but I find myself taking a lot of pictures of my garden instead of my pets, and I don't know, I don't know if that's helping me build any audience. But yeah, I don't spread myself too thin either.
Yeah, I'm going where my fans are, and that's what I think bloggers should do, is go where your fan base is. Support them. How about you, Rachel?
Yeah, I mean, I don't do Twitter, but I do Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, and obviously the blog, so that's what I get out.
And your blog is social media, so that's perfect. And Yvonne, what would you recommend? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think you should explore everything, but I think you should be 2 things. You should be where you're comfortable. So I am not comfortable with pictures, so I don't do as much Instagram as Carol, but I follow Carol. I like to see what Carol does. I just don't submit a lot of pictures. So I'm comfortable with Twitter, Facebook, and my blog. I love Pinterest, but it can be a time suck, and it can take me away from other things, so I try to do that in my free time. And so go where you're comfortable, but also where you know your audience is, again. And that's something that you learn over time. You can launch a blog and start a blog and think that you have your audience all set, and these are the people that you're going to be attracting, and 6 months later find out that a whole other group of people are coming more often than anything else. So always be aware of your audience and what they're asking from you.
Right. 2 minutes left, and we have a question from Hugh Neo. I hope I'm saying your name right. What are some great sources for you all to generate ideas for good topics to write about? I'm just going to chime in 10 seconds. I use Real Life, and I get a lot of my ideas from headlines of magazines. I take spin that's going on. Right now, I look at hot topics in the pet industry and just in pop culture, and I put a Phytos of Reality twist on it. So I like to talk real because I think my fans relate to that. How about you, Elena?
I look a lot to my readers. I like to do a lot of real-life stories, people who have adopted special needs pets. They tell me about them, and I like to write about that. And then I do a lot of networking. I go out and I meet people and ask them if they want to appear on the blog, and I do a lot of cross-promotion with other places that do similar things. And then, of course, my pets. Just living with my pets gives me tons and tons of ideas. That's where we get all the ideas for our films from.
Awesome.
So they're the best inspiration.
And about 20 seconds for you, Rachel. Where are you drawing inspiration? Where do you get your ideas for your posts?
Purely, it's Speedy. I mean, he is my inspiration. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here.
That's awesome.
So it's just literally Speedy.
Your pet is your inspiration, and
he is.
And Yvonne, what do you recommend? And when you, even personally, when you're writing, where are you drawing inspiration for topics?
Well, the main thing that I do is I look for human-animal bond stories because that's what I'm passionate about. So I'm out there looking at stories that prove the point that I believe that animals are integral and important to our lives. So that's what I do. And I also do Google Alerts. That's a really easy way to get content fed to you. And I know there's another app called Buffer.
Yes.
And that's something that Tom uses, and he thinks it works really well.
Okay, great. Okay, well, what I want to do is do a wrap and give everyone a reminder of what your websites are, where they could find you, and let's start with Alana.
So I have catinthefridge.com. You can find me and Crepes blogging about special needs pet and adoption there, and then I have catcatastrophes.com where you can go to see all of our awesome little kitty cat films that are doing good things for animals.
Great. And Rachel, what's your website?
It's speedyhousebunny.com is the web address, and obviously Speedy the Cheeky House Bunny.
Okay, great. And Yvonne, where can folks find
Well,
you?
they can find me on BlogPaws, of course, but they can also find me on scratchingsandsnippings.com. And Carol, I think what we'll do is we'll put together everybody's contact blogs and everything and put it out there so people can see where to find everyone.
And I'm going to do a blog post of tips to get recognized and what the awards are all about. So anybody who's watching this or you're catching up on it, stay tuned to blogpaws.com and check in there daily because we update the blog twice a day, and it's really a valuable resource for all of these questions everyone's been asking. And thank you so much. You definitely want to check in on BlogPaws because your answer will be there at the BlogPaws website. So. I wanted to thank all of you ladies for being here. Wish everyone a very happy 4th of July and a safe one. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carol.
Okay.